about this? Shout out to Creighton. 5 straight seasons with a tournament win, 89-75 as they advance. And up next, they got in the second round. They take on the 1 seed, that is Auburn. Sean, when you look at this bracket specifically, what are your initial thoughts about Creighton versus Auburn?
I do love what Creighton's able to do with Ryan Kalkbrenner in particular. When they lift him into those on-ball screens, they have so many shooters around the perimeter. They can also, it creates space around the basket. So you're going to step Janai Broome away from the basket. Can you back cut? Can you get movement along the baseline and vacate that back line of the defense for the Auburn Tigers? I think that's going to be really key. Stephen Ashworth was great. He controlled the games at both ends of the floor in this contest. He's got to be that same guy in this game. Value the ball, not turn it over. This is going to be a high-level basketball game between Creighton and Auburn. The length of Auburn is the issue right now because Auburn swallows up little guards. Now, can Ashworth play and see over that Auburn defense? That's going to be the challenge. The other thing for Auburn is going to be Ryan Kalkbrenner, how they play him defensively. He is a one-man zone right in the middle of the lane. Everyone else top blocks and stays on the top side, runs everything into the front of the rim. Here's the problem. If Janai Broome is the 5, not when he's at the 4, but when he's at the 5, all of a sudden you step up and you play in that area, they're going to play through Janai Broome. They're going to make Ryan Kalkbrenner defend. You get Kalkbrenner out of the game, it's a different basketball game. When they play the 2 bigs, with Cardwell and Broome, that's all right because he's going to guard Cardwell. He'll be fine. But when they go smaller and Broome's at the 5, that will be a problem for Creighton.
We were talking about this on our show pod, too. You know, Auburn, you get the 8-9 matchup regardless if you win that first round. Creighton's not a normal 8-9 team. They finished second in the Big East.
That's why this path is crazy.
Yeah.
Because, okay, whether Louisville won 18 games in the ACC and made it to the championship game, Creighton makes it to the championship game in the Big East. You look at who's on the Denver side of things. You got Michigan, who won the Big Ten tournament. You got Texas A&M, who beat Auburn and grabbed 24 offensive rebounds against them.
This is not a gimme for Auburn in that second round.
If you win that, you go with probably going to end up with Michigan State on the other side.
Well, that's fun. That's a lot of fun.
Short term for Tom Izzo team.
Yeah,
always
exactly.
Easy.
Yeah. It's not going to be physical at all. John Blackwell, game high 19 points, first tournament win for the Badgers since 2022. They had 5 players. You guys talk about it. Not your father's Wisconsin team. They had 5 players in double figures as they face now BYU next in the next round. That game, Denver, Saturday, as we take a closer look at the East region right there. Initial thoughts here as we have Seth and Sean back here with us. What are your initial thoughts when you look at that matchup of BYU and Wisconsin? And let me tell you, defense is going to weep while watching that game.
Well, I think the toughness of BYU and the depth. They played 11 guys, and all of them come in and can make shots. But there's some guys like Trey Stewart that come in and understand they've got to try to shut somebody's water off. Important. They can stretch you. They make more corner threes than any team in college basketball this year, so you've got to get back in transition against BYU. But Wisconsin plays a pack line defense, and they've got good size and length on that defense. And then Wisconsin offensively, they invert their offense so they can post up a guy like Tunji, who went to the line 9 times today, bring their bigs away like Crowell knocking down threes, which opens up the floor. This will be a very interesting coaching matchup in terms of how do you get stops on the other end.
You stopped me and paused me there about the defense. When I said they would weep, I just say there's so many skill sets offensively on both sides.
I agree,
right?
but both teams are underrated defensively. Both teams are fairly physical, and that pack line defense, because of the size of Wisconsin, they can contest shots and also keep you out of the lane. Ball screen defense will be key.
Cobwebs, they win by 38 points here. As you see, Cryer with 15 there. So balance. Again, they get the rebounds. Look at that total of 50 rebounds. That's a little bit ridiculous. As we take a look, that'll likely set up a round of 32 game between Houston and Gonzaga. By the way, the Gonzaga game, not final.
That's why it's yellow. You see, if it was final, it would be clear. But, you know, it's projected.
27-3 at
Wait, here's the deal. This is like a presidential election. You know, the numbers are in, and we're projecting
it.
Gonzaga to advance.
Yes. And I think that's a fair assessment.
Right there, and you left your feet. It's good.
It's a fair assessment, too, when the score was 27-3 at one point with Gonzaga off the start there. When you look at this matchup, and you know a lot about Gonzaga. When you look at this matchup with Houston-Gonzaga, what stands out?
Well, look at Ryan Nebhard. Obviously takes care of the basketball, and they have the ability to play off of that ball screen. But one thing about Gonzaga, they don't turn it over. Houston turns you over, right? Yes, they do.
They don't give up second shots. Houston what?
They get to the offensive glass. So if they do those two things, take care of the basketball with Ryan Nebhard and having the ball in his hands, and rebound the basketball, they need an X factor. And Caleb Battle is their X factor to me. At 6'5", he has athleticism, defend on the perimeter. He can also break off a play and get downhill and make a play, but he's got to be selectively aggressive if they're going to be successful. But
Battle, to me, and talking with Mark Few, is the X factor. They got to handle the blitzes of the ball screens, handle the blitzes of the low post, but they need someone to step up. If Battle steps up and they do what they normally do, take care of the ball and rebound the ball, they got a shot.
Haven't shot the balls all season long, has Gonzaga. Yet today, they have done outstanding. Nolan Hickman's been great. Caleb Battle has been great from beyond the arc. I think the numbers are a little skewed when you look at Gonzaga as far as their ability to clean up their defensive glass, mainly because of some of the teams in which they play. When you look at today's game even, Georgia was able to get on the offensive glass in today's game. If you give up second chance points to Houston and you allow them to get on the glass, you're going to get pummeled. They wear you out with their physicality. Juwan Roberts was available to play today. It was good to see him out on the floor and get the minutes that he got. This team for Houston can also shoot the ball from beyond the arc at a great clip. They shot 61% in the first half, cooled off a lot in the second half. But this Houston team is legitimate, and Gonzaga is going to have to match, to Coach's point, two things. One is defensive glass. The second one is when they blitz and they bring two to the ball, can you get the ball out without turning it over and allowing them to run out?
Can you turn over Ryan Nembhard? He's hard to turn him over. I mean, it is hard.
Yes.
I can see in the low post, EK.
Once you get the ball out of his hands,
Who's going to make a play?
You can turn over the other guys.